I did read something very interesting today, though. Not today, it was last week. I had no idea that this occurred, and it might just be because I live in a black hole, but you might have heard about it. Do you know why the Swedish race is disproportionately good looking compared to, everyone else?
No.
They ran a government-sponsored system of eugenics back in the day. You aware of eugenics? Yeah. Essentially, government-mandated castration of anyone mentally impaired, quote-unquote ugly, or like not aligned to what their vision of a good-looking race was. Very kind of Third Reich-y kind of vibes.
Yeah, but they just decided to do it in a different way, wipe out a generation by them having just not existing as opposed to
exactly right. I want to do this justice because there's a lot of facts here. It was essentially compulsory sterilization, and it went from 1906 to 1975. It could be done on medical or social grounds. And sterilization was also a condition of gender reassignment. So if you were a man that wanted to become a woman, you had to be chemically castrated, and vice versa. So there was no trans baby issues in Sweden.
So was it enforced? Was there a judging panel where it's like, you're too ugly to breed?
We could probably dig really deep down into it.
I ain't got shit to do. Let's go.
All right, hang on. So it was run by the National Swedish Board of Health. Various indications for operations performed between 1941 and 75. In order to keep a lid on sterilizations, eugenicists arranged to collect detailed information. As a consequence, Swedish data is complete when it comes to legal operations since 1941. An unknown number of men were sterilized abroad or illegally in Sweden, and this may have been the cause of the lower number in operations from 1970. So it's referencing a chart that you guys obviously can't see. The State Institute of Racial Biology is what the actual arm was called.
So people didn't know they were doing it. Were you like going to get like
yeah, I think it's a grey area. I think there were some that probably were and some that probably weren't. And the way that they framed it was under like three reasons, basically, three broad grounds on which it could be carried out. The first being medical. So if a pregnancy could pose a risk to life or good health of a woman, they could sterilize them. Eugenic, which allows sterilizing people considered insane or with severe illness or with a physical disability, so that these traits were not passed on to any offspring. And the third was social, which is weird, which allowed for sterilizing people deemed unsuitable to foster a child due to mental illness, being feeble-minded, or having an antisocial lifestyle.
Feeble-minded, rebellious, or mixed race.
Yep.
And it was mainly women that they sterilized.
Yep.
That's crazy. I wonder if they knew that they were doing, like, they were like, you better not act too mental, otherwise you're going to get sterilized. Or I wonder if like you just went to the doctor and they were like, you fit the criteria. I can't find that out. They say it's like the darkest time in Sweden's history.
The victims were young, mostly female, judged to be rebellious or promiscuous, of low intelligence or perhaps mixed blood. One was a young woman whose priest believed she had not learned her confirmation lessons well enough, and another who couldn't read a blackboard because she didn't have eyeglasses and was deemed to be retarded.
So the government was just doing... I thought Sweden was like, chill, they have like nice jails. And
exactly.
That's dark as hell.
Yeah.
Because that is like, that's a Holocaust. It's just a pre...
Yeah, well...
let's actually cut that. It's not a Holocaust. It was... They deemed it only to be 30,000 people over that period of time, which is very few considering it's a, 72-year period?
Yes, yeah.
So it must have been...
Swedish population isn't that big though, either, from memory.
But still, like that equates to very few people.
Yeah.
So it must have been something that was kind of a far-right movement for the doctors.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I mean, if 30,000 is what's reported, but there's a lot of dodgy shit going on. That number may well be double. You divide that by, let's say, 75. It's still 400 people a year.
Yeah,
which is a pretty good clip.
That kills a bloodline, like really.
Yeah.
It's like because then they will branch off and have kids, especially dumbass people.
Yeah.
They like to breed.
So the next time you're walking around Sweden thinking, fuck, everyone's really good looking, now you know the dark history behind it.
And now you understand the origins of Swedish death metal.
The guy who
had been sterilized has been like, I'm so creepy.
The guy
Goths definitely got fucking sterilized. If you were in a Swedish goth band, they were like, had the forced immunizations at the shows, forced sterilizations.
The guy who like concocted the whole idea wrote a book on eugenics, and I think he was pretty enamored with the whole Aryan thing of the Hitler. There was a lot of crossover in ideology, let's say.
Yeah, well, eugenics is, I mean, that was part of what the Nazi party were trying to do. So. Not good. They used to do dark shit, man. Like, and they probably still do, and we'll find out in 20 years' time. Do you ever watch that documentary about the triplets?
That like grew up in New York or something?
Yeah, and they grew up like super close to each other.
Yeah.
And one of them goes to university, and the other one has just finished or left university, and everyone thinks it's him, and then they bring him back, and then he finds that out. Did you watch that to the end?
Yeah, I did.
It's so dark because they figured out that like they were actually experiments. And then they went to get the data about it, and they put them intentionally in 3 different types of homes, and they exposed them to different things. And then, yeah, they tried to get the files unsealed through the courts, and they wouldn't do it. So there's like a bunch of people that have been, you know, that they essentially ran sociology tests on by intentionally putting them, like, because one of them got put in quite an abusive household. That's so dark, man.
Very, hey. It's like a really fucked up Black Mirror Truman Show.
Yeah. They've done lots of really, really dark.
Clubgood. Good.